I'm Dr. V, pediatric neuropsychologist.
And I'm Catherine Mukes, licensed professional counselor. And welcome to Let's Talk. So let's talk about this back to school stuff. It's time for back to school, Dr. B. You know what that means?
Yes.
All kind of craziness, right?
Definitely.
One of the things that's come up, especially amongst our elementary aged kids and our adolescents, is a lot of studies and news reports are showing that stress and anxiety are increasing amongst these groups of kiddos. And we know that there's a lot of things that are to be said about a lot of the stressors that are probably different from when we were in school. I mean, there's access to so much now that maybe there wasn't when we were growing up. But really, there's just a lot of things that are going on for our kids, and they have a lot of stressors and things that are going on for them. And so we just wanted to talk with you guys today about how to support our students as they prepare for back to school and even throughout the school year.
Sure, there are some very straightforward and simple things that we could do to make the daily routine and just how we function or how children function throughout the day go by a little smoother, so to speak. One thing is sleep. Sleep is so important. I don't think that we give enough credit towards sleep and the effects that it has on behavior, mood, cognitive functioning. So it's very important that school-age children are getting at least 10 to 11 hours of sleep, that adolescents are, hovering around about 9.5 hours of sleep, maybe a little bit more. But sleep is very important. It's going to play a factor in your ability to focus. Can you think about times where you haven't had enough sleep?
Yes, indeed. Because they say for adults, right, it's about 6 to 8 hours of sleep that are needed for normal functioning.
Right.
And, honey, when I don't get mine. No, but it's really important because it does, sometimes we're very groggy. Like you said, we can't focus. And so if as adults we need 6 to 8 hours and we're not getting that, imagine what is happening to our school-age students who are being their whole livelihood at that time is about being able to focus and pay attention to what's going on in the classroom.
Exactly. And one tip that I have, for parents who are trying to move up the sleep, the bedtime, you can do this slowly, maybe moving up bedtime by 15-minute increments until it's at the time that you feel is most appropriate for your child, where they can get the most amount of sleep.
Yeah, and a lot of the schools are starting right around now, and I'm guessing across the nation, depending on where you're watching us, there could be some people who are getting ready to start school. And I know summer schedules get real crazy.
Yes.
So that 15-minute increment plan may be helpful several weeks before school starts, getting them in the habit of getting to bed a little bit earlier, even when the sun is out, right?
Yep, even when the sun is out. Sorry. You'll feel better the next day. You'll appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, one of the things that goes along with, I think, sleep is just a routine in general for our kids.
Yes.
Kids tend to thrive better when they know what's coming, how it's coming, and there's a pattern of things that they can expect. One of the things that does happen for the kids, it does help to lower their anxiety and stress because they know what it is, and it's about a safety mechanism. So when they know that, we go to sleep at this time, we wake up at this time, maybe we eat at this time, mom or dad is going to pick me up at this particular time, they thrive better in those environments.
I certainly would agree. I would say one way to assure that they have this routine and that they're knowledgeable of the routine is to have a dry erase board where you outline what time certain activities take place. Yeah. So not only do you have that, you may have the information in your head, but for children, they can actually visually see how this routine works.
And would you say that they're never too young to start implementing those types of things?
Never too young. The amount of information on the list may vary by age. For the little kiddos, you may explore using pictures to help them understand what is the next task or what's the next activity. And as they get older, you may, use more words to describe what's taking place a particular time.
Okay, so a dry erase board with time and what's expected to happen during that time is a great idea, Dr. B. What about, so one of the things that comes up around school time, right, is everything is back in session. So it's not just school. We got dance, we got football, we got soccer, basketball, gymnastics, swimming, tennis, track, all of that stuff, right?
Yes.
What do you recommend for parents as it comes to participating and engaging in leisure activities?
Well, I think leisure activities are great. I think they're great opportunities to, if it's a team, to build, team building, teamwork skills, to build leadership skills, to learn sportsmanship. These are all wonderful, wonderful qualities and to have, and that come along when you engage in extracurricular or leisure activities. However, there is such thing as having one too many leisure activities as well. You have a son. About how many extracurricular or leisure activities does he engage in?
He gets one.
Oh,
he gets one. And a lot of it, and I think it goes back to what we were talking about before when it comes to sleep and some of the routine things. I would love for him to be able to engage in this and that and the third, but there's only so many hours in the day. Exactly. And because he does need his sleep, because his parents do work, there's something's got to give. And so that means we can't do 3 or 4 different things. And I know it's got to be challenging for parents who have multiple kids who maybe have multiple interests. And so sometimes it's really about maybe thinking about picking which thing is going to be most important for the kids and figuring out a way to schedule it so that it works well for everybody, including making sure that they have able to get their sleep and those other routine things. Not to mention all the homework and stuff they're going to get.
All the homework that will surely come. I mean, that's exactly right. And that's why I think writing it out helps you to put that into perspective. Well, if they have to do homework and they have to, do this and that activity, then where is the time to fit in multiple extracurricular activities? So it's about balance and planning, like you've said, and having that routine and being logical in what can fit in the 24 hours, less than that, really, that they have.
Yeah.
And one other thing that you mentioned at the beginning, like the stress levels, and that children are experiencing, school-age children and adolescents are experiencing. How do you go about addressing some of those worries and different feelings that school-age children may have?
One of the things that I think is very important as parents is just to be present with our children. Sometimes we get so busy in the humdrum of life that we're not paying attention and noticing when there's something going on with our kids. And sometimes they can show up in the smallest ways, and sometimes they're in really pretty big ways. So one of the things is to just make time for communication with your child. Make sure that they have time to be able to express to you how they're feeling, what's going on with them, and creating that space. Maybe as part of the routine. Maybe it's around mealtime, whether it's breakfast or lunch. Maybe it's on the car ride home if you guys, have a little bit of a distance to go. Just being able to carve out some time. And for kids, it doesn't have to be, hours. You're not sitting down having a whole, I don't know what to call it, but you're not spending a whole bunch of time. Right. Sometimes it's just 5 or 10 minutes to be able to check in and say, hey, how was your day? There's an activity I like to give to some of my families to try, and this is good for pretty much anybody in the household. It's called highs and lows. And pretty much when you sit down, everybody gets to talk about what was the high point of their day, what was the best thing that happened for them today, or the best thing that they learned today, or just the thing that stood out to them that made that day worthwhile. And then the lows, what maybe was the worst thing that happened to you today, and being able to process those feelings around those things to start helping our children, number one, be able to identify what's going on with them, but number two, being able to communicate it, because the way that they're going to be able to communicate it is by communicating with their parents. That's where that's going to come from, and even being able to model that for them. So being able age appropriately to say, today, was the high point of my day was, I don't know, I got a pat on the back for a good job, or, the worst part of the day was, the meeting was way too long, or whatever kinds of things, but so that they understand that as adults too, we have highs and lows, and that's a normal part of the process of life.
And it just models also ways to, this is how you identify emotions, and this is how we, have emotional expression. I see my parents doing that, and I model that same behavior.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, a lot of the things that we've talked about today are relevant to most children. This is really meaningful for typically developing children, but there are some children who have more significant and impairing concerns with regards to sleep, with regards to feelings of anxiety or worries. And those concerns need to be addressed in a more formal way with intervention. And we'll have some videos that are coming up in the future. Be sure to tune in, where we talk about more specific mental health concerns and the intervention that's needed for them.
Absolutely. So we hope that these tips on helping get ready or to improve what's going on in your school year are helpful for you. We said making sure that we have a good sleep routines in general, being smart about how we manage our time with leisure activities, and being able to open up communication with our children. So we hope if you guys have any comments, please leave them for us. We can't wait to see what you have to say. If there's any topics that you'd like to hear about, be sure to drop us a comment or drop us that question as well. And we will see you next time. Oh, and don't forget to like and share with your friends and family or anybody you think could use this video. It's been great talking with you today. Until next time, take care.